Bernanke's speech overnight. What impact does it have on investor sentiment over Asian assets?
Well, I think we got a more dovish statement from Bernanke overnight, particularly referring to policy likely to remain highly accommodative for the foreseeable future. That came in the Q&A after he'd given his remarks on the 100th anniversary of the Fed. And I think that does sort of take away some of the tightening that we've been pricing in the market since really the middle of May, which is good news for Asia, ex-Japan and EM equities.
How do you position now on Asian equities?
Well, there are a number of longer-term fundamental issues that have really impacted performance to the downside this year. Yen weakness, the reappearance of Japan as a competitor, the actual funding issues that some of the more vulnerable countries in EM, particularly Brazil, South Africa, are facing, their external imbalances. And in addition, of course, China's own slowing growth and attempts at deleveraging its banking system. Those issues haven't gone away, but certainly the extremely strong dollar environment and the very rapid rise in the global cost of capital, that's probably going to abate a little bit. So I think we can have a tactical bounce here, but strategically we're still quite cautious on the outlook for Asia ex-Japan equities and EM, and strategically we're more bullish on Japan and the region.
How cautious should we be when it comes to China?
Well, we wrote a piece at the end of June about China deleveraging, and essentially we were pointing out that the attempt to rein in shadow banking and wealth management products was happening in an economy which is already starting to exhibit downward cyclical momentum again in the second quarter. So that raises the probability of a bear case outcome in relation to growth, maybe falling into the 6% plus range at some point in the second half or early next year. And from an equity market perspective, clearly China's already very cheap. MSCI China's more than one standard deviation cheap to history, but earnings revisions have turned negative again, unfortunately, reversing the improvement we saw in the first quarter. So we'd be somewhat cautious, though China has strengths compared to other EM that we're more concerned about.
You're more bullish on Japan, and ahead of the upper house's election on July 21st, and today's BOJ's rate decisions, how should investors position?
We wouldn't be expecting much in the way of change from the Bank of Japan. Those upper house elections are very important, however. We suspect that the outcome of that will be a further boost for Abenomics, particularly the supply side element of it, the well-known third arrow. And what we're really looking for here is labour market reforms to improve labour market flexibility. And if that happens, we should get a leg higher in sentiment towards Japan.